welcome to today's Pick a Card general reading. If this is the first time that you're seeing me, I am the Hermit Tarot, and this is my free tarot reading channel here on YouTube. I gotta not call it that though. I have to change my little spiel because I do a lot of other stuff on here now, namely my podcast, Spirit Talks. So if you missed at our latest episode, here is what we did. It was a very triggering title, but I personally really loved the way that the episode worked out. I think it was very thought-provoking and conversation-stirring. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I recommend that you do, and let me know what you thought about it down below. I just realized I left my TV on, so Netflix is just going to join us in this intro today. Today's reading is inspired by a mini pick a card reading that I did on Instagram. If you aren't following me yet, here's the plug. Follow me at the.hermit.tarot.shop on Instagram because I do like to post weird stuff on there, to be honest with you. I used to just do mini pick a card readings on there, and now, man, I'm doing all kinds of things, reels, weird stories, lots of Q&As, not as many as I used to, but I like to do Q&As and actually connect with you guys. So yeah, it's a good place to connect with me, Instagram. But I did a mini reading on this topic on Insta, and it got a lot of positive feedback, and that's the main reason why I'm doing it today, because I do think that it's a concept that will be very helpful and that should offer you a lot of insight regardless of when the message finds you, if that makes sense. It's a good timeless reading is probably a better way of saying it. So we are doing, without further ado, drum roll, we are doing Why Do You Keep Seeing Signs as today's Pick a Card tarot reading. So real quick, when I'm talking about signs, I'm going to be talking about angel numbers, although I don't personally use that term myself. I like to say sequence numbers or repeat numbers. You know, things like 1111, 222, 111, 333, 555, 666. Whether your sign is numbers, names, places, colors, tastes, food, if you feel you've been seeing signs lately and you just can't figure out why, they could even be dreams. Maybe every time you leave the house, you see things that you dreamt about last night and you're like, well, what does this mean? I hope that you can find the messages that you need in today's reading. There will be a lot of different groups to choose from. It's a quite in-depth reading in the sense that it's not just 20 minutes, it's at least 30 minutes for each of the groups. So there's a lot of information covered, and the aim here is to try to give you more clarity and understanding as to why you've been seeing these signs, whatever they are. It could even be animals. Maybe the sign for you is that you've been seeing this yellow butterfly everywhere you go. Or maybe a sign for you is you've been seeing spiders everywhere you go, which was literally me in July. But whatever the sign is, I hope that you find the messages that you're looking for in one of the groups today. So without further ado, I am now going to take you into the Pick a Group portion of today's reading. Okay, welcome to the Pick a Group portion of today's reading. We do have 4 groups to choose from today. They're all earrings, just to make it a little bit more easier. We'll start over here with group 1. Group 1, you have the feather beaded earring today. It has very brown hues. There's a feather missing on this earring as well. I'll try to hold it up close like this so you can get a good view. Very beautiful earring. It was a gift from my mother. They make a lot of these earrings where I'm from. Very, very, very beautiful. So that's group 1's earring. If I can stay still, I've got the shakes, you guys. I just finished filming all the groups, so I apologize. I've got the shakes. I haven't even had any caffeine today. Terrible. Let me see if I can just hold it still enough for you. There we go. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Okay, group 1. Group 2. You guys have the dual heart earring. Let me just fix it up so I can show you. It actually has a little secret to it. Both the hearts are different colors, different shapes. We've got a blue heart on top. We have a white heart at the bottom. And the way that this earring works is that the white heart is actually attached to the earring back, if you can see. And the front heart is actually the part of the main earring, the front of the earring. So together they sit in very strange ways on your ears. And I actually wore those earrings for my latest podcast episode as well. Now group 3, Your earring is the Moon and Stars earring. And if you've been following me for a little bit, you would recognize these earrings from previous videos. They're actually like my favorite earrings. I wear them when I am in the mood to just embrace my cosmic self. And I have like a galaxy dress that I like to wear them with as well. Very fun, holographic almost earrings. They change color, as you can see. And they just have one moon and all of these stars on them. They've got a bit of wear and tear here as well. You can see the scratches and things of when I've worn them out to town. So that's group 3. Group 4, you guys have the asymmetrical earring. And the reason it's called asymmetrical is because the partner earring that I bought with it is not the same as this one. So it's a very special earring. It's brown and gold, and it has like a little plastic stopper at the back as well. Very new earring to my collection. It might look like a country or a state if you want it to, but I'm going to put it back down for now. So those are the 4 groups. If you feel you need more time selecting your group today, you're welcome to join me in the meditation portion of this reading. The meditation video will play right after this, so you don't have to do anything. But when you do know which of these 4 groups you're feeling most called to, be sure to scroll down below, click on your timestamp, and join me in your reading. So the first thing I want you to do with me is to take in 2 deep, mindful breaths. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to focus on clearing your mind. It's natural to have thoughts racing at this point. I want you to embrace each thought as it comes and let it slip as quickly as it came in. Focus on clearing and balancing out these thoughts so that they come and go without a desire to be attached to them. And now, with a rested mind, I want you to think of the first group that comes to your mind. It may be a number. It may be an object that I showed you. It could be a specific color. It could be a feeling that you felt when I showed you each of the groups today. When you are ready and when you feel confident, select your group and join me in your reading. Hi group 1, and welcome from myself and Morpheus today. If you guys chose this beautiful earring with all the feathers and the beads, then this is going to be your reading. There's a little feather charm in here, which I'm sure I would have shown you in the intro as well. Beautiful. This was a gift from my mother, so it's a new collection, new piece to my collection. It's already very dear to my heart. Group 1, we are asking Spirit, why do you keep seeing these signs? So let's get straight into it. I'll have some tarot. I'm going to put your earring over here, not too far, so you can still see it, just in case. We're going to be asking Spirit, why do you keep seeing these signs? We're going to have a look at some oracle cards. We're going to get tarot to be more specific, and then we're going to get some more cards to see if there's any more advice for you or information. Excuse me, I just got to get a drink of water. I realized I coulda, woulda, shoulda done that off camera, but I didn't realize how thirsty I was until now. So listen, let's start with this deck because it's very diverse. Group, Kirk's hair is everywhere. Group 1, please, Spirit. Why do they keep seeing these signs? Why does group 1 keep seeing signs? Why does group 1 keep seeing signs, Spirit? We have release coming out for you first. This card says, let go, you'll know when. With this comes relief. Sorry, I'm trying to read it backwards, so it's really challenging me. All right, I gotta move this a little bit. Gosh, a little bit all over the place today. Is that better or worse, Spirit? Spirit's like, that's worse. Okay, ay, Dios míos. Okay, there we go. Group 1, please, Spirit. Why do they keep seeing signs? Why do they keep seeing signs? Group 1. Path. More than a way to get somewhere, it's a way of life. Wow, path. Release, path. One more card. Why do you keep seeing signs? We also have connection, meeting yourself in another and or in work, communion, collaboration. Quiet collectives exist. They are wonderful for your soul. Wow, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's have a look at your bottom deck energy as well. The process is never wasted. It delivers transformation, but ask, how can I be more joyful in this experience that I have chosen? Joy, 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 joy. The process is never wasted. Wow, it delivers transformation. So that's honestly like what I was feeling. I feel like you guys are transforming at the moment, to say the least. There seems to be a change in your energy, and the signs that you've been seeing have been trying to steer you in the right pace in the right direction, because I think that there is this desire to kind of stay where you are or to move backwards because it's comfortable, it's familiar, but it feels like your life is very much evolving and you're being pushed forward to embrace something that is newly developing. It's not brand new. It's something that has already been created by you, by your hard work, by your ability to create opportunities and to make them for yourself. For example, it makes me think that you've put a lot of effort and idea and manifestation into this new path that you're on, but there is still something pulling you backwards. And I feel like the signs are trying to encourage you to move forward and to keep moving forward, regardless of what feels familiar, because that is where you are going to get that feeling that you're craving Whether you're moving forward because you want connection, you want to be surrounded by like-minded souls, or by a destined purpose, or by like a kindred energy from somebody else or from your interests. Spirit is saying you're not going to find this in your past. You need to move forward in order to find that flame, that passion, that interest, that connection that you've been craving. It's not in your past, it's in your future. And your future is being created on this path that you're on right now. So you do need to release and let go. You'll know when, Spirit is saying, by the way. So for many of you, you're probably still tying up loose ends and trying to kind of assimilate into who you want to be rather than who you currently are. And I get that that process can be messy. It's going to differ for each and every one of you. Sometimes letting go of our past requires us to have a full ego transformation. We have to reinvent ourselves very much, to the point where we move house, we change friends, we change jobs, we change interests, because it's easier for us to embody that transformation when we take it on in such a physical way. But for others of you, it's as simple as letting go of things that don't mesh well with who you are becoming. And this could be as basic as you're still trying to drink coffee every morning, even though you don't need to anymore, because you're not working that 6 a.m. job anymore, and you can regulate your sleeping hours to a more balanced routine that suits your personal sleep cycle better. Whether it's you don't need to continue to beat yourself up for not eating lunch on time, because technically your body clock goes by its own time. Whether it's as severe as you don't need to continue to text those people and reach out to them for that support, because actually they're not supporting you, you're supporting them. Whatever it is, you do need to let go, and you'll know when, because it does not mesh well with the path that you're currently on. And Spirit is saying it may be uncomfortable, it may be a little bit awkward even, or hard, difficult, but it will be also a huge moment of relief, like the opportunity to unburden yourself and to let something off your shoulders, to finally go, oh gosh, I've been carrying that for so long. I can't believe how much weight I've been carrying, how much responsibility, how much somebody else's baggage I've been carrying, how much of my past that I was actually resisting I'd been carrying. And when we resist who we are becoming, it can very much feel like baggage, which is kind of where this feels like. Now, The main message behind all of these signs, though, is that this process is supposed to be a joyful one because it's exactly what you asked for. It's not a tower moment. It's a rebirthing, transformative period that you have been manifesting. It's everything that you've ever wanted coming true for you because you wanted it. So as difficult as this may be, it shouldn't be that difficult if you look at the bigger picture and realize that you are becoming everything that you've ever wanted to be, one step at a time, by attaching yourself to the right things, one step at a time, letting go of the wrong things, one step at a time, and embodying this being that you've wanted to be one step at a time. I do think that all of this is going to bring you closer to the right people and the right situations. With this connection here, there seems to be something in your future that requires you to take present action, and it does not belong in your past, in the sense of whatever it is, it hasn't technically been created yet. And keeping something in your present over here, pretending like that is it, is taking up space for this, whether it's new friends, new love interests, new work opportunities, because this is talking about collaboration and connection. So we could be looking at purpose and work and things that like bring us stability and comfort and joy in life as well, which for many of us, if you have a career that you would enjoy, that could be it as well. It is just this feeling like that is a part of who you will be, not who you are right now. And there's something else in your present that we need to get rid of. So let's get tarot out here to figure out what this says. Spirit, can you clarify the release card? Why does group 1 keep seeing signs? What is the release card? Yeah, you're holding on to something. You're resisting moving forward. It's more of a movement for you. You're resisting moving forward towards something or someone. What is this release card, Spirit? I would say something, because it's an interest that hasn't been fully acted upon. It's a passion that hasn't been acted upon. Yeah, it has not been acted upon. You've considered it. There's desire to do it, but action has not been taken. What do they need to release, Spirit? What do they need to release here? Valley of Discs reversed. Yeah. You need to release this idea that you are not good enough, or that you are not experienced enough, or that you are not capable enough to make this work. You are the right person for the mission, Spirit's saying. This is not mission impossible. You've actually outgrown your present circumstances, and you're evolving into someone who is destined to be and have more. You're telling yourself you're a lot more immature than you actually are. You're outgrowing your environment here with the Valley of Discs, forcing a triangle to fit into a circle, Spirit saying. There's so much extra room there for growth, and you are someone who is supposed to have more than what you currently possess, whether this is in a relationship or whether this is in another situation here. And when I talk about relationships, liken it to the nature. It could be friendship, it could be lovers, it could be partners, whatever it is. There's something here that you have outgrown, and you need to kind of appreciate how you have been limiting yourself based on the way that you see yourself. For many of you, you've told yourself that something that you're passionate about, something that you're interested in, you cannot have right now because it doesn't fit your current circumstances. But technically, you've cut yourself short to fit your current circumstances. It's like I'm seeing this giant try to fit into like a hobbit's, and for those who don't know what a hobbit is like a really small person. It's like seeing a giant try to fit into this small person's home and telling themselves that, I just have to make this work. And it's like, but why? That's not your house. That's not your life. That's not your journey. That's not your destiny. That's not your path, sweets. Your path is over here. You're trying to fit into something that you have outgrown. It's time to release that. It's time to get back into this momentum. Is there anything else they need to know about this release card before I get carried away with your advice? Is there anything else that group 1 needs to know? We have the 7 of Wands upright. So, I'm so sorry to say this, but this card is telling me that it's just you versus you in this situation. You're the only person saying no to you, sweets. The 7 of Wands is your own fear standing in your way. There's nobody else battling you on this. Nobody else is telling you can't do this except you. You have to overcome your own fear if this is really something that you want. And this is telling me that in this situation, you've painted yourself as the underdog. But the thing about an underdog is when they win, because they do. It's not impossible. They do. There's something incredibly magnificent, glorious, and remarkable about that moment. Everyone wants to celebrate that person who thought the odds were stacked against them, and all of a sudden they've come out as the champion. And this happened recently in Australia with our football. Sorry, but it's just making me think of the Melbourne Demons in AFL here in Australia. They were underdogs for 20-something years. They hadn't won a grand final. And then all of a sudden, this weekend, it was a landslide, a very competitive match, and they proved themselves, and it was an incredible thing to watch. I don't even follow that kind of football, but I was watching it like, oh my days, this is electrifying. This is making me have higher aspirations and hopes for myself. If a team that's on like a 20-plus losing streak, 20-plus years losing streak, can prove themselves in front of thousands, like a whole nation, and win in such remarkable ways, and surely I can do those things that I've been putting off and telling myself I can't. As long as I put in the hard work and I conquer that inner voice that's telling me I can't do it, who's to say I can't? I'm literally the only person saying that I can't, and that's you in this situation. You're the only person saying that you can't. You're stacking your own odds against yourself and betting on yourself at the same time. It's a massive conflict of interest here. So that is another major thing that you have to let go, is this way that you see yourself and the way that you allow yourself to be your worst enemy in this situation especially. Let's have a look at Path now before I get too carried away. Path Spirit, why is Path in their reading? Why do they keep seeing signs? What is Path trying to tell them? We have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. So, wow, yeah. This is very much about an epiphany that you may have received recently, or some sort of enlightenment. That is kind of telling me that whatever it is here that you're going through, you kind of know what you need to do, but you're delaying it. You're delaying action. That's telling me that you need to pay more attention to, excuse me, I'm getting so many hiccups. You need to pay more attention to your dreams, Group 1. You need to pay more attention to your reoccurring thoughts, and not just the turning them off because they sound like fearful thoughts that aren't helpful. You need to pay attention to your reoccurring thoughts. Whoever's saying things to you and it's exactly the same as what you've been thinking yourself, you need to pay attention to those messages, because there's a reason why something is just stuck on repeat here. I'm hearing na 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 every day. It's like my iPod stuck on replay. So Shorty's like a melody in my head. Wow, Sean Kingston, welcome to the chat. I haven't heard that song in years. But that's what it's making me think of. Something's replaying in your head here, and it has the secrets on how you can move forward. You've been thinking of this reoccurring thought, this reoccurring idea, because it's trying to secretly tell you what you need to do or what you want to do in this situation. And plot twist, it's not impossible. It's actually the way out. It's actually something that's going to make you feel better. For some of you, it's a conversation you need to have with somebody. For some of you, it's like needing to share these thoughts with somebody and talk about their feelings and heavy ideas with somebody, even if it feels like you've missed that train, which is an interesting message. Why is Path in their reading, Spirit? Group 1, why do they keep seeing signs? What is Path doing here? Yeah, they're really wanting to encourage you with this, to move forward in the path ahead, something that you've already started for yourself here. You need to have that courage to keep going, because this is everything that you've ever wanted. You've realized now, but you haven't taken action towards it. Some of you have started, and this is confirmation that you have done what you need to do. High five, you're amazing. Others of you have just had the clarity and have not taken action. You're yet to take action, Spirit's saying. And for those of you who are in that boat, you really need to appreciate that this desire, this impulse, this soul-pulling feeling to move in that direction is not going to wane. If anything, it's going to grow stronger. This is definitely what you're meant to do, Group 1. And I do feel like the path for you is being made very, very clear in terms of what you need to say and do next. The signs are trying to encourage you to move forward and to reconcile with the fears as helpful tools in identifying something that is clearly very important to you. I only take this as if it resonates, but a message that I'm getting is one that I've been told myself when I was a kid. Mum used to always tell me, because I was a very timid child compared to my closest sibling. He's very much a go-getter, live in the moment, easygoing, throw something at him, he'll catch it. If he doesn't, he'll try and catch it the next time, doesn't beat himself up. Beautiful, admirable personality. I'm the opposite. I will overthink everything and talk myself out of things. And that is who I was when I was a child, but obviously I'm trying to be very much embracive of that and be who I want to be as well. So Mum always used to tell me that sometimes fear is heaviest or strongest when we are faced with something that really, really, really matters to us, that we really, really, really want. And we have to decide and understand whether the fear we are experiencing is genuinely fear of failure, fear of making a fool of ourselves, fear of embarrassment, fear of rejection, or is it actually fear of missing out, not taking action, succumbing to all the other fear, and wondering for the rest of our lives what would have happened if we did that? That fear, the strong, strong fear that you feel in this situation, if that's the case for you, needs to be understood better, so that you know whether it's fear of rejection or fear of doing nothing and never knowing and missing out for the rest of your life. And that's kind of what the Ten of Pentacles upright is implying. There is so much potential here for something incredibly impactful. And when I look at the Ten of Pentacles, I look at legacy, I look at longevity, I look at generations of connections. So if this is a love interest, or we're looking at something that will surpass your lifetime here, it's so profound and impactful that it not only changes your circumstances, it sets up the next generation for success, whether we're looking at money or connection and family here. It's very, very, very impactful, and I don't mean to put that kind of pressure on you, but this is just more confirmation that this feeling that you've been having, this truth that you've been seeing, is genuinely the truth. Is there anything else they need to know about path before we move forward here, Spirit? Why has Group 1 been seeing signs? We're being shown the King of Blades now. So the King of Blades is very much about acting out of a place of clarity, understanding what action to take, seeing, the different variables, but also appreciating what is within your realm of control versus what is out of your realm of control. The King of Blades is a very fair person who acts with this idea of needing to kind of mitigate levels of risk. I see the King of Blades as almost like a adjudicator or like a judge in general, someone who has to deliver a fair outcome. And the way that they do that is often diplomatic and with clear thought. You have to see what you're doing and explain what you're doing well, even if it isn't well received by everyone, because Lord, we can't make everybody on this earth happy. If all we can do is make ourselves happy, and if what you are genuinely afraid of is stepping on other people's toes and making this an uncomfortable situation with your previous employer or your previous partner or whatever situation you're in and needing to leave behind, then just make sure that you've thought about this and you know what to say to help you sleep better at night, because that's the best that you can do. You can't control how somebody's going to react or what they're going to feel or what they choose to believe. As long as you've said and done everything that makes you feel happy and you've ticked your boxes and done what was right in your heart, then that's the best that you can do, Group 1. Don't beat yourself up. You're too kind. You're too kind. I'm sorry, but this is your journey. You're sacrificing your own growth here for the sake of making other people happy. Anyway, moving forward to connection, Spirit, can we clarify why connection is in their reading? Group 1, why is connection in their reading? Why have Group 1 been seeing signs? The Hierophant reversed. Oh my God, if that doesn't put the nail in the coffin, I don't know what does. You have been committing yourself to the wrong aspects of your journey, sweet pea. The Hierophant reverse tells me you have all the information you need, first of all, so be very careful about who you listen to when it comes to advice. Not everybody's 2 cents is going to add towards that dollar that you're creating. Not everybody's advice is going to contribute towards the outcome that you need, that you want. It's very much about ascertaining who is helpful and who is unhelpful, because you are very wise in your own rights and you are somebody who is wise enough to impart your own wisdom, to become the teacher. You're no longer the student, is what Spirit is saying. The other reason this card is reversed is because you have been committing yourself to certain aspects that you've outgrown. I consider this as someone who's still trying to go to school when you've graduated 2 years ago. Like, excuse me, the uniform doesn't fit you anymore. The school books are out of date. Like, you can't attend these classes. I'm so sorry, but you've graduated. You're still in the same situation that you feel you need to be confined in, despite the fact that you've graduated. Your diploma's hanging on the wall. Your parents have your graduation photos. You're still, trying to squeeze into that old high school uniform, and it's like, you've actually graduated. You're beyond this now. You are bigger than this situation now, and you have developed beyond this student-teacher dynamic. You're the teacher now. You're the one who can create for yourself now, who can decide how you wish to impart your knowledge now. You don't have to stay here. In fact, you can't stay here. I'm so sorry, but with the Hierophant reverse, things are about to get very uncomfortable for you. Trying to stay in a situation like that leads to a lot of challenge and a lot of unnecessary change. A 5 reversed is a horribly conflicting situation to be in. And with it being the Hierophant, that's like the archetype of change, being stuck in transformation, stuck in a challenging situation. It's like having to redo the worst part of your maths test over and over again, you getting all the answers right and still failing and receiving a massive F next to your name because you're not supposed to be here in the first place. These aren't the lessons you're supposed to be taking. These aren't your lessons. Why else is connection here, Spirit? You've attached yourself to the wrong thing. What is the wrong thing, Spirit? What do they attach themselves to? This is horribly specific, so you may have messages in other groups if you feel that this is only catering to one area of your life. We also have the Magician here. Yes, you need to have the confidence to be able to move forward here. You are someone who is destined to create. You're destined to be quite powerful in this lifetime. You are a very keen manifestor, Group 1. You are someone who co-creates well with the universe when you are confident and when you are telling yourself that you are able to achieve the things that you desire. There is very much this energy of like having confidence, blind confidence, might I add. You're someone who is supposed to be so much greater than who you were. You're becoming someone incredibly powerful is what I can tell you. And connection here is telling me that you're stepping into a more masculine energy, either through the environment that you're about to enter or through your own energy. There is this masculine energy of I am, and I will be. So you are powerful and you will be powerful, and really believing that for yourself, knowing that you can be successful in this situation, not allowing your previous hurt to stand in your way, especially with the Hierophant reversed. Any previous rejection or feelings of failure are in your past for a reason. It does not and should not reflect your future successes here when it comes to connection. You also need to appreciate that your wow, this is a very different message, actually. This is the Knight of Goblets. So the message with this card is that you're actually someone who, as long as you do it in the way that is, how do I word this? This is a very specific message. It feels very strange. I need another card. Processes. Find what works for you. Be open to evolution in your processes, vitality, stamina, and engagement. Find what works for you. That's what they were saying. Knight of Goblets is about honoring your nature. The thing about the Magician is that it can be a very confrontationally masculine energy. I think of the Magician sometimes as like a experience-hungry Aries, this fresh face, just keen for experiences, a bit intense at times. But in your case, that feels like an energy that you can't always embody. Like, you're not always this tall poppy that likes to be seen and noticed by everyone. You embody that energy internally for the sake of your own, success. You're not someone who likes to sort of big note yourself, as we say in Australia. You don't like to be seen as this sort of overly confident, ready person whose hand's always raised and you're always putting yourself out there. So they're really encouraging you to do this in a way that aligns with your nature. And I am getting with the Knight of Goblets that many of you are very shy or naturally introverted, but just because you may look or feel that way on the outside doesn't mean you need to embody that internally. Having that quiet confidence is everything with your group, and that's what Processes is also asking you to do. Vitality, stamina, and engagement. Be open to evolution in your processes. Find what works for you. So moving forward is very much about finding what works for you and honoring your nature and finding that confidence in your way, because everybody's confidence may differ. You know, some people are more extroverted, outgoing, and like being in the limelight. Others are quiet hustlers, quiet achievers, and they prefer to have quiet confidence. Finding something that works for you. The Knight of Goblets is about honoring your nature, especially if you are a shyer, more introverted or meekish being. You don't have to be this arrogant, masculine magician energy. You can be quietly confident as well. The other reason why the Knight of Cups is here is because it's encouraging you to actually get out there and engage with people, meet people, take actions towards opportunities that your heart is invested in. The Knight of Goblets is very much, that's it, basically. Take action towards what your heart is interested in. Take action towards what your heart is interested in. They don't want you to hide behind the circumstances and pretend like the situation is too big for you to handle. Pretend like you were too inexperienced to take this on. Pretend like you can't do this right now because your situation won't allow you to. Okay, well, we'll take that situation from you then. Oh, but I'm still feeling nervous. Okay, but we'll show you that the fear of missing this is worse than the fear of being rejected. Oh gosh, but I'm not an outgoing person. I'm not extroverted. Okay, that's fine. Just do what works for you then. The universe is really encouraging you to do this. It feels like it's very big and it's something that you are destined for, group 1. Why else are they seeing signs with connection, spirit? Yeah, they're saying make room for the reality you want in your life. Start living like it's already here. Take action towards this as if it's already here. Align your circumstances to match what you want. So this is like, for me, for example, I always had this dream of like hiking. And when I say hiking, I mean like taking a 4-day trek across like a mountain in Tasmania. If it can't be Scotland, I wish it could be Scotland. Fingers crossed. Please, Australia, let me go to Scotland. Our government is not being kind right now. But anyway, it's very selfish of me to think of myself and not the other 24 million people in this country. But anyway, my dream personally has been to go to Tasmania and hike for like 4 days. Camp, hike, just do that. Walk 10 kilometers every day and see the beautiful landscape of Tasmania. And I've had that dream for the last 4 years. But 4 years ago, I was 30 kilos heavier. There was no way I could have hiked across Tasmania. I wouldn't have been able to make it up the first hill, let alone the whole 40-kilometer trek. So over the past 3 years, I've been aligning my reality to my dream by getting healthier, by incorporating more cardio, by doing smaller hikes, by really imagining myself on that trail with every step I take at the gym or in my personal life, walking up hills with my family, climbing mountains with my friends. I've been doing that so that my reality is now literally dependent upon the government letting me travel to that place. And that is very much what they were kind of hinting with the Two of Pentacles flashing itself in here. Aligning your reality with your desired dream, your desired outcome here by taking steps and incorporating that reality into your life. The Three of Wands reversed is kind of telling you that destiny is knocking at your door and you may miss it because you're either facing in the wrong direction or you're saying to yourself, no, that can't be right. I was expecting it in 2022. It's 2021. What the heck? That's not the right knock. I'll just wait. There is this feeling here of you shouldn't be waiting any longer. This is something that you have the power to create for yourself. Your actions are important. You are powerful. You can have this as long as you let go and see what is manifesting in front of you. You have wanted this for a very long time. Don't miss this opportunity now just because you are starting to get last minute stage fright. Your bottom deck energy is the Four of Wands in the upright. So listen, all of this fear, all of this, what is feeling like friction is actually trying to bring you harmony. It's not trying to make your life more complicated. It's not trying to add an unnecessary drama and stress. It's trying to bring you the harmony, the connection, the balance, the celebration that you've been craving, the unity, Spirit is saying, that you've been craving. Are there any other closing messages for group 1? Because Lord, this is turning into a long reading. Is there any other closing messages for group 1 in terms of why they've been seeing these signs? Are there any other message? Hello. We have night. Again, this night is so important and it had to be drummed in again in a different way because there's clearly a message I forgot. Be brave and honest. Your closing message from Spirit, from your team, from my team. Be brave and honest. they really want you to take action towards what your heart wants here. Take action towards what your heart wants, because the fear of never knowing, of missing out, is going to surpass the fear of rejection tenfold. It is such a terrible feeling. Be fearless and stand strong. I'm just splitting the deck and showing you what I'm seeing. Your bottom deck energy is surround yourself with protective energy. So this is very much the Hierophant reverse. Be careful about who you get advice from, who you listen to. It's that feeling of don't take advice from people who are too afraid. Don't let people who are too afraid to embrace their own dreams talk you out of yours, you know? And that is something that, like, when I heard, oh my gosh, I don't even know who said it originally, but when I first heard that, I was just like, wow, this needs to be the mantra of my life, because I wasted too much of my younger years listening to people who were too afraid to take their own dreams. Before I realized how quirky, weird, and unique I was, how was I supposed to get advice from somebody who was so... how do I word this, vanilla, and I'm out here like a confetti rainbow cake? Like, we are not the same. So that's the same thing for you, sweets. Surround yourself with protective energy, kindred spirits. That's where you're headed to anyway. You're headed into an environment with kindred spirits, a quiet collective of people and energy that matches your vibration. And in order to do that, you do have to release what is holding you back and keeping you stuck in something that is not where your energy currently is. So group 1, that's what I see for you. That is why you have been seeing signs. This message was awfully specific, so you may have messages in other groups if you feel like you're also seeing signs for other reasons. I do have this many groups for a reason, so head on over to another group if that's the case. But before you go, I do just need to take a quick second to thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages, and more importantly, for keeping me safe while doing so. I have to thank you for all of your support, Group 1. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate everything that you've been able to offer me here on YouTube. Time is the most valuable thing, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And please look after your beautiful self. I shall see you in another video. Bye. Hi Group 2 and welcome. If you chose this beautiful earring over here, it's a 2-piece set. I actually wore this earring in my latest podcast video, so if it looks familiar, that's why. Then this is going to be your group 2. Now we're asking Spirit, why do you keep seeing these signs? This reading is aiming to offer you clarity as to why you've been seeing repetitive little messages, signs, numbers, names, etc. You name it, same themes in your dreams over and over again. I'm hoping that this reading will really give you the clarity and drum in that final message that Spirit and your spiritual team have been trying to teach you. So Group 2, I got to get into it because my gosh, this may be a lot longer than I was expecting. Group 1's reading went a lot longer than I was expecting, so please excuse me. I just need to take a big drink of water before we get into it. Let's start with this beautiful deck over here. So I'm going to get at least 3 cards to help us understand why you've been seeing signs. And then we're going to get tarot to get more information. And we may close with some final oracle cards if needed to get more advice. So Group 2, please, Spirit. Why has Group 2 been seeing signs? Why have Group 2 been seeing signs? Why have Group 2 been seeing signs, Spirit? Oh, just like that, 3 cards. Bottom deck energy is Seer. Wow. Oh, Group 2, who are you? Wow. I can't even speak English. I was about to say something in a different language. Be a pioneer, be an entrepreneur. The few lead the many. Seer. Wow, this is very impactful and impactful. Oh my gosh, my old Kiwi accent's coming out. This is very impactful energy here. This is definitely, oh my gosh, you are someone different. You are very, 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 very different, and in the best of ways. It's honestly something that means that you're intended to support, help, and guide a lot of people. You're supposed to have quite an impactful presence in your lifetime. You're someone who is supposed to be a pioneer, an entrepreneur, one of the few that lead the many is what Spirit is saying. Let's see what your other cards are telling us. Trance. Oh, sorry, I'm getting so excited with you. I can't be too excited. I've still got 2 other groups to film after this, so I can't get too excited. I'm sorry, but I hope you are. I can't even control my legs right now. They're going like this. I feel like I'm on a ride. This is incredible. Trance. Creativity seeks expression. Meditate. Allow your works to be creative meditations. See the divinity in your creative acts. Creativity seeks expression. Meditate. Allow your works to be creative meditations. See the divinity in your creative acts. Trance, they're saying. Trance, trance, trance. This is very interesting. There's a few messages here, and it feels like a very specific message to those of you who believe that you are someone who has like a body of work or a creative outlet or an opportunity to share your creative expression with other people. There may be a specific message there for you as well, but I'm getting a few other ones for myself to share with you. We also have ignorance. The not knowing is useful sometimes. Maybe not when you're on a deadline though, so manage expectations. Theirs and yours. Ignorance. The not knowing is helpful, useful sometimes. Manage your expectations. Yours and theirs. We also have hopelessness. That emotional spectrum and creativity. Find support and encouragement, but also investigate this. Are you focused on the right thing or doing what you think you should be doing? Hopelessness. Are you focused on the right thing or doing what you think you should be doing? Wow. I'm going to put your earring over here so we have space, because we are going to talk about these cards and elaborate on them as well. Goshness me, you are a very impactful group too. There's something about your presence that comes across as being quite profound or quite impactful towards others and towards this lifetime. Now, your version of impactfulness or being impactful is very much linked to how you express yourself and how you are able to process the things that you go through. It's almost like you're able to either help people with your wisdom, or you're a prime example to those around you of how to overcome simply by doing, by being. You don't even need to consciously share it, but allowing others to kind of witness your process is something that seems to be helpful and healing. Now, in order to do that, you have to kind of have these healthy boundaries and understand what works for you. And it does feel like all of these signs have been trying to show you how to get back into the flow, into your divine flow, reminding yourself that what works for you won't necessarily work for others. So you may need to manage expectations around that, kind of explaining like, listen, I work like this because it helps me produce the greatest quality. Spirit is saying quality over quantity here, understanding what works for you through healthy expectations and boundaries. This could be as simple as, getting that schedule at work that kind of fits in with that sweet spot of what you're able to do if you have the luxury, or balancing out your free time in a way that it's actually catering towards the things you want and need to do balanced, not kind of overstepping that line. It could also just be talking about you managing your free time better to kind of use it in a more useful way, whether that usefulness is you being more creative because that's something that you're trying to pursue right now, or that usefulness is getting back on top of your housework because having a tidy home is what makes you feel better about yourself. The key word here is useful. The context is determined by your individual. So that may be something to reflect on and to think about, because this is a general reading. I cannot get any more specific than that. I do think that there is this undercurrent here of embracing your emotions in order to get through your creative blocks. Even if this is just about thinking of a creative solution to the challenges that you're facing, or trying to just get through the next week because it's going to be difficult. You have to kind of embrace your emotions in order to get through this, because there is, you're very powerful when you're connected and in control, in the sense of everybody, feels down. We all have those moments that are overwhelming. Sadness is going to be as known to us as happiness. Many of us will experience the two, some of us more than others, but you are someone who is very, very, very powerful. When you take that feeling, you acknowledge it. There's no shame, there's no guilt. You take it in your stride and you keep pushing forward. And I think that's why hopelessness is here as well. Are you focused on the right thing or doing what you think you should be doing? I really think they want you to use your free time more efficiently, or you've been seeing signs because there's something that you've been delaying or procrastinating on, and it is time to just do it. You're going to feel better about yourself. It's not as big of a deal as you've made it out to be. It's just a matter of doing it. Why else is expectations mentioned here, Spirit? The not knowing is useful sometimes. So I do have a feeling that some of you guys are on a bit of an edge here. You feel like you're at a precipice, Spirit is saying, a cliff face. So it feels like there's this unknowing sort of edge that you may be teetering on. This may only apply to some of you. And I do think that in order to get through this, you have to appreciate that ignorance is bittersweet. It's a part of the deal in this situation. We can't 100% know the outcome, but we can trust and rely that the actions we've taken are enough, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I think that for you, Spirit is saying that more reflection and meditation could be a very helpful way to know how to invest your energy and where to take the next action towards. Because I do think that trance is here as more of like a passive contribution. You have all of this ability within you, well, your emotions, your creativity, your expression, your actions. Trance is more of a passive internal power of kind of meditating, reflecting, and knowing what you want to do before you take action. Otherwise, you're just blindly taking action without clear intentions and hoping for a clear outcome, which is completely, it's not always, it's not going to work. So I do think that trance is this undercurrent of you connecting with what you want and understanding, that your actions are really the most impactful in the situation. You are a pioneer, you are an entrepreneur, you are the few that lead many. Find support and encouragement, but also investigate this. Are you focused on the right thing or doing what you think you should be doing? That emotional spectrum in creativity, that feeling of hopelessness. Maybe you've been facing the wrong way, focusing on the wrong aspects of this challenge. There is a creative solution. Let's get Tarot out here to clarify, shall we? Starting with trance. Why is trance in their reading, Spirit? Group 2. Why has group 2 been seeing signs? Why has group 2 been seeing signs, Spirit? We do have the Hierophant coming out here. Interesting. We also have the Valet of Wands. Excuse me, I don't mean to yawn. I actually find yawning very rude, so I apologize. If you can't control it, you can't control it, but in this setting, I have no excuse, so I do apologize. We also have Temperance reversed coming out. Group 2, please, Spirit. Why have they been seeing signs? Why have they been seeing signs? We have the Hermit reversed. You've not been listening to yourself. You have not been listening to yourself. That's why Hierophant came out reversed initially. I flipped it upright. You need to listen to yourself more, Sweet Pea. You know the answer to this. And if you don't logically know, you intuitively know, which is why meditation, those quiet, still moments are so important. Meditation comes in very, very many forms. For me, it's just a practice of mindfulness. It's a practice of making more mindful moments throughout your day. You don't have to sit down, close your eyes, and zone out for 10 minutes. It could be as simple as really just absorbing that warm cup of coffee in your hands at breakfast, taking that lunch break, looking out the window and appreciating the sun, the clouds, the birds, the trees, the smog, if that's your reality, and just taking that mindful moment to connect with your present reality and your present state of being, understanding who you are in this present moment by connecting to who you are. Yesterday I was happy, I had a wonderful day. Today I'm not feeling like that. Why? Let me just sit with myself this morning and try to figure it out. Oh, I had toast for breakfast and it's a bit heavier than my cereal. That makes sense. I'm not going to hold it against myself because I did what I thought was sustainable for my body. I understand now that this is not going to ruin my day. I'm going to keep moving forward and allow the day to manifest as it does in front of me. I'm not going to take this heavy feeling and make it my entire reality, but that does make sense. Toast makes me feel heavy. There is a feeling that you've lost touch with your inner knowing, and I do think that you've been seeing signs that are trying to kind of confirm what you already know and try to remind you to really absorb your own wisdom, your own guidance, your own information in general. There is a feeling here of inner reconciliation, coming into union with your own energy, appreciating who you are and connecting with who you are in order to move forward, because you are on a journey here and you're not as inexperienced as you believe you are. There is a beautiful, again, there's a usefulness in being ignorant or naive at times. The thing about a Valley of Wands is it kind of feels like a Sagittarian, a young Sagittarius energy. And Sagittarius people have this ability to kind of follow what they feel is right. It can look impulsive to somebody who's logical and practical. It's like, why the heck did you do that? But the Sagittarius is so in tune with their spirit that they've simply done what they felt was best in that situation. And they look really lucky because of that. It's kind of like a, why, how do you keep getting so much success? And it's because they're so in tune with their spirit. They don't let the preconceived ideas of failure or their past logical ideas of defeat hold them back. That's what the Valley of Wands in your spread is talking about, embracing your spirit and really connecting with this optimistic, forward-moving energy, understanding that advice for you is best taken from within right now. You've been seeing signs so that you can stay optimistic and in this fast track of working with the universe, of moving forward with the universe, trusting almost naively in the actions that you haven't logically or practically planned out. There's a real live in the moment energy over here, and it has to do with really embracing your inner wisdom and knowing that even if you don't know everything about the world, there is still usefulness in not knowing sometimes. And in your case over here, Spirit is encouraging you to meditate and to see the divinity in your creative acts. All right, let's move forward. Why is ignorance here, Spirit? Oh, Tarot del Toro came out for you in the reverse position. We also have the Magician upright. Wow, same message. Same message. We also have the Four of Swords in the reverse. Spirit, why is ignorance here for group 2? We also have the King of Blades in the upright position. Yeah. Group 2, you are definitely someone who is supposed to lead. You're a creator. You are an entrepreneur, a pioneer. And that is what I'm seeing over here. What's lacking is the ability to manage your own expectations of where your actions are taking you. And I think that that has to do with other people's expectations of how you should act and what you should be doing right now. There is a feeling here of embracing your own path, or how do I word this? Vision. Vision is a better word. Embracing your own vision and allowing your actions to speak for themselves. I do think that you guys may be pigeonholed in a certain direction. It's making me think of someone who, if we're going back to the creative analogy, you only ever painted. You're a painter. People expected that from you. People expected, okay, group 2 is going to paint again. I'm so excited to see their new painting. And all of a sudden you started making music. And your medium turned to sound, and you still held art exhibitions and these huge sort of big openings, galleries, and it just, all of a sudden there was no paintings. There's only visual and audio art, and people were just kind of like, what? How is this going to be successful? How is this going to work? How can we expect this to be something that is as successful as what you've done in the past, because you've changed now? This isn't what we expected from you. There is a feeling here of switching up your energy because you've been pigeonholed by others. And it may not be that grand, it could be simple, but it does feel like you're about to do or try something very new, and you can't afford to place expectations that aren't helpful right now. You have to have that confidence, and you have to have the confidence to take actions towards this and to not just kind of go, well, if it works out, it works out. It's like, no, but if you've done everything that you possibly can, if you've embraced the process and you've really taken action in a way where you can happily say, I did everything that I possibly could to make sure that this is successful, then you have no reason to be afraid or concerned. It does feel like, because the outcome is now out of your control, the King of Blades over here is asking for you to really think about what your actions should be and to communicate this to some other people so that other people aren't what is holding you back from being successful. What this is making me think of is like needing to have a conversation with a parent, about, listen, I don't actually want to go to university. I've thought about it. I know you want me to, and this is a very difficult thing to tell you because I know that you really want me to be there and you offered to financially support me in certain ways, but I need you to know that this is my choice and this isn't what I want for myself. There's a feeling of needing to manage other people's reactions to what you're about to do, which is very interesting to me because it makes me think that your path, your journey still does not feel like your own. It makes me think that there are others that feel they have become invested in your present circumstances. And I think that where you're at right now and the signs that you are seeing are encouraging you to have more autonomy, independence, and separation from other people and their expectations of how you should live your life. I really think that this ignorance feeling is only so heavy because whatever happens, you don't have to just manage your own expectations, but you also have to consider somebody else in this equation and what they expect from you, how they want you to perform, and how you should be successful in their eyes. Can we please figure out why hopelessness is here for group 2, Spirit? Why is hopelessness here for group 2? Why is hopelessness here for group... Oh! We have strength coming out reversed. Why is hopelessness here for group 2? Why have they been seeing signs, Spirit? Yeah, a lot of these signs have been trying to give you the confidence to have that conversation and to do it in a fair way where you are managing people's expectations and also understanding what kind of they should expect from you. I'm sorry, that message just keeps coming up. So the way that I work when I channel is I have to say these things. Otherwise it starts to become like an itch under a cast that I need to scratch, or I'm going to break my bones in the process again. We also have the 7 of Pentacles reversed. Is there anything else you can tell us with hopelessness, Spirit? Why is hopelessness here? We have the Knight of Blades reversed. Yeah, you're okay, and you don't need to rush. This is not a race. You've been seeing signs over here with hopelessness because this is not a race. We also have the 9 of Swords in the reverse, which is starting to turn into a trend, if I'm honest with you. You have the Death card as your bottom deck energy, and it is, in the upright position. I'm starting to get a bit slack my mouth. I've been talking for too long. Wow, group 2. You are very powerful, but that doesn't mean that you should be out here exerting your power and your energy all the time. Rest is just as important. Knowing when to be powerful is just as important. Knowing when to be the strong force is just as important as actually having that ability. You should be resting and allowing yourself to recharge for the right moment to act, and now is not the right moment, especially if you've been wanting to rush towards something. Let's go through that hopelessness card again. Hopelessness, that emotional spectrum and creativity. Find support and encouragement, but also investigate this. Are you focused on the right thing or doing what you think you should be doing? And in this case, group 2, I think that you need to kind of pause and consider what you should actually be doing. What is the right thing that you should be doing in this situation? Because all of these cards are telling me that you need to uproot something, have patience with something, take back the energy you've been giving to something, not rush towards something, reconsider your actions or regret taking actions towards the wrong thing. So it feels like you're at a crossroads here where, whoopsies, I just realized I planted daisies. I can't eat daisies. I was supposed to plant sunflowers. What am I going to do now? It's okay, but it is time to sort of go through that process of uprooting those daisies and sowing the seeds to the sunflowers, waiting for them to grow, and then taking action towards harvesting them. This situation, I hope my metaphors and my analogies aren't too confusing. That's the best way I can put my feelings into context for you. And I do know that we all come from very diverse cultural backgrounds too, so I do hope that my analogies don't sort of make the language even more confusing than it should be. But that's how I can describe this feeling. It's like, slow down. Rest is just as important. Knowing why and when to act is arguably more important than taking action here. For you, you do need to have this passive undercurrent where it's very important that you understand what you should be doing before you do it, because God knows the potential is there. You know, your spiritual team knows that the potential is there. You have that ability. You could turn any unfruitful situation into your own Garden of Eden, but just because you can doesn't mean you should right now. Why are we doing this? What is this for? What is the meaning? What is the purpose? And how are we going to do this? So that's what I'm seeing in terms of these cards. Is there anything that I've missed for group 2, Spirit? Why else have group 2 been seeing signs? You do need to rest, they're saying. You need to have patience with your situation as well. Something is out of your control right now. And until it is crystal clear that you should be taking actions, there are other areas of your life that you can focus on that should not be procrastinated or delayed. And this isn't about distracting. It's just about channeling your focus onto other areas of your life. I also think that the Magician is here to kind of get you busy again, get you into this creative space, not just creative in the sense of, yeah, I like to paint, but creative in a constructive sense. Creative in the sense of you have an ability here that is very pioneering, so channel it in that way. Your interests are not hobbies, they are entrepreneurial designs, so think of them in that way. Your ability to create is about creation, not just having something pretty to look at, but creating something functional, useful, helpful, and impactful in terms of your future and those around you. So really get into that big energy. You're more than an artist, you are a creator. With the O-R, creator. They really want you to take more time connecting with yourself, trusting yourself, knowing yourself, and understanding that you have so much wisdom to offer yourself. They want you to feel excited about what is to come and to follow that childlike, sort of whimsical, free-spirited energy within you that doesn't always have the answers, but does always land on their feet, because that is the Jupiter way of kind of being in the moment and going with the Wheel of Fortune's flow. They want you to see yourself as the main character in your life and to understand that other people can add to your life, but they do not define your life. They do not define your reality. You do. So maybe it is time to have certain conversations with certain people to manage their expectations of how you should be living and what you should be doing with your free time especially. Let's get some oracle cards to summarize. Why else has group 2 been seeing signs? What other information is helpful for group 2? Why have group 2 been seeing signs? Why have group 2 been seeing signs? We have Stag, trust and thrive. Isn't that beautiful? Trust and thrive. This is telling me that you need to stay grounded, rooted in who you are, stand firm in what you believe, and know that your actions, however passive they are, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is actually step back from the equation. Those actions will lead to thriving outcomes. Stag is stubborn. Stag is defensive. Stag is peacefully powerful. You know, they're very combative unless they have to be. They stand in their power. They know when to confront versus when to run away, because that situation is not for me. And that is the beautiful energy of the Stag. There's something very graceful about your energy here. Trust and thrive. Being passive is just as powerful as being assertive. Group 2, please, Spirit. What else do you want to tell them? Shaman. Trust again, but this time, trust in higher forces. Shaman over here is really, really, really calling for you, group 2, to be able to see your situation as something that is out of your control in many respects, in the sense of, why do you need to focus on it then? You know, If it's out of your control, it's also out of your need of focus. It's good to be aware, but that doesn't mean that you need to focus. Awareness and focus are two very different things, and they really want you to switch your focus to things that you can control with the awareness that there is something else playing out here that is out of your control. It's out of your responsibility. It's out of your realm of action. And that is where many of you may need to have those difficult conversations with certain people to also voice that to them. This is not my responsibility. It's out of my control, and I need to focus on other areas of my life. Why else? What other advice or information do you have for group 2, please, Spirit? Why have they been seeing signs? Interesting. Water guardian, wow. So real quick, if you're thinking of connecting to nature, you need to be around a body of water and some form of like landscape, whether it's a big grassland or a woodland. You need like an earthy landscape. And I think that this is mostly to get grounded, to get rooted, and to really connect with the stable passive force within you. And this means being barefoot, by the way. This is not about going on a park walk and trekking in boots for 4 hours. This is about doing that and also taking a mindful moment with your shoes off, feet in the soil, feeling the energy around you, the environment around you, grounding yourself in that moment and allowing nature to cleanse those ions from your body. You need to reset your negative ions, which is why water and getting grounded in nature can be helpful. The earth is a natural positive conductor, in the sense of if we have an excess amount of negative ions that we pick up through our exchanges, being around technology, driving other people, heavy energies, this is a very scientific way. This is not just spirituality. This is a scientific way of looking at your vessel. Grounding yourself in nature can be a way to discharge the excess amount of energy, those excess ions, which is why sometimes when we have a big swim or when we spend all day in the sun, when we spend all day playing in that meadow or in that park, we get extra tired because we've stripped physical forms of energy from our vessel. So I do think that would also be helpful for you, just to kind of strip back that excess and get grounded in your core being, who you are and what you actually need to start with and focus on. Water Guardian is saying connect with your emotions, and that was something we were feeling from the beginning. You've been seeing signs because your emotions have been telling you the truth. You're a powerful person when you're connected to your emotions. You're a powerful person when your emotions are in your control, whether that's anger, whether that's happiness, whether that's frustration, whether that's sadness. All of these emotions, helplessness, ignorance. I would consider ignorance to be more of a state of mind. But anyway, all of these emotions are a part of what forges your ability to see what is going on and to understand how a situation is making you feel. Connect with your emotions is your closing advice with that card. And your bottom deck energy is that all of this is leading to this opportunity to shed old skin and transform your current circumstances into something that you actually want for yourself, which is why your bottom deck energy in tarot was also the death card of transformation. It's time to let go, transform, heal, and move forward. Sometimes this kind of transformation is more about repairing relationships or observing authentic feelings and understanding how to take authentic actions off those feelings. Sometimes it can be as hectic as, having to really uproot your life and change your circumstances in order to embrace who you truly are. But in order to get there, you need to connect with your emotions, trust what you know, stand firm in what you believe, and really, have that awareness of what you cannot control, but don't focus on it because you can't control it anyway. Group 2, that's what I see for you. And that is why you've been seeing signs according to your group. If you feel this has been a very specific message for you that doesn't address all the signs you've been seeing, then you may have messages in other groups. So I would encourage you to see if you're feeling called to any other groups as well. I do need to quickly thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages and more importantly for keeping me safe while doing so. Holy heck. It's been a long reading, mostly because a lot of energy came through, so I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope you found clarity, confirmation, and advice/support for yourself. I need to thank you for your time, Group 2. I really appreciate you being here. Time is the most valuable thing in our life, in my opinion, so I really appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I shall connect with you very, very soon. Bye! Group 3 and welcome. If you guys chose this this is actually one of my favorite earrings. If you chose this gorgeous moon and stars earring, then this is going to be your reading. We're asking Spirit, why are you seeing signs? So I hope to get as many honest, clear messages for you. I don't like it when the camera's wonky donkey like that. Let me try it. Ooh, just makes it worse. Let me try to straighten it up a bit. There we go. Okay. We're going to ask Spirit, why do you keep seeing signs? Whether you've been seeing them in your dreams, whether you've been seeing them consciously, whether it's numbers, whether it's names, whether it's places, colors. Why do you keep seeing signs? It could even be animals, you know. Let's start with some themes, Spirit. 3 main reasons. Why is Group 3 seeing signs? Why is Group 3 seeing signs? We have joy coming out as your first card. The process is never wasted. It delivers transformation. But ask, how can I be more joyful in this experience that I have chosen? We're going to get 2 more cards as well. It's Group 3, please, Spirit. Why do they keep seeing signs? 2 of these feelings, emotions, I think. Knowing. Do not ask so many questions when the answers don't satisfy you. You always know. Knowing is next. Wow, Group 3. Why does Group 3 keep seeing so many signs, Spirit? We also have darkness. Do not be afraid of the dark. Your eyes will adjust. Wow. I'm honestly getting that like the main reason that you see so many signs at the moment is because there is this desire to kind of cradle you and to help you feel protected and seen and understood in terms of maybe what's going on right now is just kind of a little nudge. These signs are nudges from the universe, from your spiritual team to say that, listen, we are here. But I also get that you're on the kind of you're in that part of your journey where you want confirmation that you're on the right path, that you're doing the right things, that you're able to be successful based on what you're currently doing. So I would say that for you, Group 3, these signs are confirmation more than anything that you're on the right path, but also that just because you aren't receiving any profound results or you aren't experiencing anything especially extraordinary right now, it doesn't mean that you've completely messed up. It's okay to simply be okay. You don't have to always be in chaos or always be in joyful moments. That being said, there is also this feeling as though the signs are trying to show you to be more responsible for your joyful moments. They're trying to show you to take more accountability of your happiness. And if you are bored or if you are feeling restless, then you need to start doing more things to help itch that feeling. Because at the moment, the main priority on your current situation is to keep moving you forward and to make sure that you continue to move to where you need to be. The joy and the happiness is up to you. They're just protecting you, is what I feel. The universe, your guides, your spiritual team, they're protecting you. You're responsible for your joy and happiness along the way, for looking at the bright side. The process is never wasted. It delivers transformation, but ask, how can I be more joyful in this experience that I have chosen? Especially if you're halfway through like a manifestation and you're receiving signs as confirmation that, listen, we hear you, we're working with you, we want this to happen for you. But in order for you to get there, like you need to focus on your joy and keep your joy up there. And we'll focus on doing what we can to make everything else come together. It's like the universe is out here stitching the rest of your manifestation together. All you need to do is supply the thread. So I do think that that's why you're seeing signs, is to remind you that it's the frustrating in-between place. It reminds me of like a marathon runner. And say you're running like 20 miles, right? You've passed the halfway mark. You know that the end is in sight, but you've kind of lost track of the length of the journey. You don't know really where you're at. You could be at 12 miles. You could be at, 15 miles. You could be at 18. At the end could be within sight around this next corner, but you've lost track. You don't know. You're starting to sort of doubt yourself, or you're starting to just feel like, when is this going to be over? When am I going to reach the finish line? So I think that these signs are A, confirmation that you are still on the right path, but B, you need to just focus on what you can do right now. And a major part of that is being helpfully distracted with your joyful presence, not to the point where you're succumbing to the lack of excitement of this process and starting to get distracted in unhelpful ways. It's like, what I'm seeing is like a child in a room, and literally like you have a cupboard full of toys, but you feel bored because you don't have anyone to play with. And Spirit's like, listen, we're getting you someone. You're in that room because you wanted to be there. You're in this experience because you wanted to be here. All you need to do is keep yourself busy while we make your lunch, while we deliver your process. It's like literally like I'm your mother talking to you as a child. Like, please just play in your room with your toys. You have a whole cupboard full of toys. I'm making your lunch and I will give it to you when it's ready. That's what Spirit's saying. And I think that that's why knowing is here as well. And I don't mean to scold you. I don't mean to sound like your mother, but that's the vibe that I'm getting for your group, is that actually, listen, you're doing so well. And you're literally at that annoying part where you don't really know how much longer ahead you have. You know that you've been doing this for a while. You haven't really received any strong, profound confirmation that what you want is around the corner, but you're just sort of looking at these signs like, well, what does that mean? And why am I seeing this? Does that mean it's going to happen now? I've been seeing these signs for a while. The signs are trying to remind you to stay present, to keep your mind helpfully distracted, and to try not to focus on what isn't here yet, especially with knowing. Do not ask so many questions when the answers don't satisfy you. You always know. And for some of you, this is about making sure you're careful about where you get your information from. Overconsumption is just as bad as not knowing at all. I would argue it's even worse, because by then you're so confused you don't know what to believe anymore. At least when you're not asking, you still have a baseline of knowledge. You still have an intuitive feeling or sort of a gut feeling on what might be the right answer. But when you ask, I'm hearing like all these names: Adrian, Sam, Sarah, Caitlin, Jessica, Juanita. That's a different name I haven't heard in a while. When you ask all these people, your personal answer then becomes skewed by what they have to say to you. So careful about your overconsumption as well of media or of information, knowing. Do not ask so many questions when the answers don't satisfy you. You always know. And sweets, you know what that makes me think of? I'm sure you guys could relate. Maybe not all of you, but when you watch a tarot reading and you're like, that's not really what I wanted. Let me watch another one. Let me find another reader who's done the exact same topic, and I'm going to watch their video and hope for a better reading. It's like, listen, maybe the issue isn't the reading. The issue is your overconsumption at that point. Be very selective and discerning when it comes to the amount that you are consuming as well. We also have darkness over here, and I don't mean to listen, I sound so contradictory, don't I? Because I'm here creating content for you to consume, but I just, know your limits, know when it's becoming unhelpful is the main message here for you. We also have darkness over here. Do not be afraid of the dark. Your eyes will adjust. That tells me that you are in the dark here. You're in a period where you don't know what's lying around the corner. You feel like you've been waiting for some time. You feel like you've been maintaining a joyful spirit for some time. You've been here manifesting this thing for some time. When are we going to see light? Spirit is saying that your eyes will adjust. So that tells me that you're actually very, very close, and we can get tarot now to ascertain how close you are. I'm just going to have a quick sip of water. So Spirit, can we please clarify joy? Why is joy in their reading? We have the Death card reversed. The Death card has graced every reading at the moment. Every single reading. Why is joy in group 3's reading, Spirit? Why are group 3 seeing signs? We have the moon reversed. Yeah, confusion. Fear, potentially. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what lies ahead. Fear of what you don't see. Which one? This one. We have the Knight of Wands. Wow, yeah, take those moments, embrace those moments. Why is knowing in group 3 spread, Spirit? We have the 3 of Wands coming out, and it is upright. We also have the 10 of Swords, and it is reversed. Why is knowing in group 3's reading? And we also have the 5 of Pentacles as your final card for knowing. What about darkness, Spirit? Why is darkness in group 3 spread? We have the Star card reversed. Why is darkness in group 3 spread? We have the Ace of Blades over here in the upright. One more card at least. Why is darkness in group 3 spread? Why do they keep seeing signs? We have the 5 of Wands reversed. 5 is a number for you, that's for sure. 2 5s in the bottom here, plus a 10. I honestly think that your situation is not as challenging as it has been in the past. It feels like you're just in the lurch here, sort of just waiting for that moment, waiting to see the answers, waiting to see results, waiting to get through this interim sort of transitional period. And it does feel messy. It feels heavy. It feels a little bit like, come on, are we there yet? Your bottom deck energy is the 8 of Wands upright. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? What was your bottom deck energy here? Fear. What are you so afraid of? Unpack it for a moment and set it free, or use it. Wow. So joy over here being clarified by these cards does definitely feel like your situation is feeling like it's crawling along. It feels like it's just sort of moving at a very slow pace. And it's taking far too long for you to get to where you need to be. Unfortunately, that is the pace of this part of your journey. That is the pace that is most sustainable for this part of your journey. Rushing it would not deliver the same results. Slowing it down even further would not deliver the same results. That is the pace at this part of your journey. It is frustrating, absolutely. It is confusing, for sure. It's instigating unnecessary fears, probably. But there are other helpful things that you can do that are within your control. And that is why the Knight of Wands is here. The Knight of Wands is acting in the moment, acting out of impulse, acting out of energetic requirement, acting a little bit spontaneously, you know, acting. The Knight of Wands is encouraging you to take action towards the things you do know, you can control, you do want, you do understand, that aren't confusing, that are helpful, that are vibration raising activities. Whether that means I'm just going to sleep in today because I've got nowhere else to be. I'm still manifesting that person of my dreams, or I'm still manifesting that job of my dreams. I'm still manifesting that family, my dream child, my dream car. I'm still manifesting my dream lifestyle. So I'm just going to do what I can for today. And maybe today I want to wake up early. Maybe today I want to sleep in. Maybe today I want to watch my favorite show. Maybe I'm actually sick of doing these things. I want to get out of the house. I want to do something different. I want to meet a new person. I want to have fun. I want to call that friend that I haven't spoken to in a long time. I want to carpe diem and seize the day that I have with the actions that I can take. The Knight of Wands here is saying that you've been seeing signs. Did I kill it? Oh, no. Oh, I've been trying. Oh, I didn't. Phew. I've been trying not to really kill anything, but old habits die hard. Knight of Wands here is literally like you've been seeing signs because you do need to start taking action on the things that you feel you're lacking. And it's kind of bringing me back to that child in the room, you know, and you're knocking on the door asking your mum, when are we going to have lunch? And your mum's like, please just do something, distract yourself, play by yourself, come on, you've got toys in your cupboard. And sure enough, your cupboard's loaded, you have so many opportunities, but you're focusing on what isn't here yet. So these signs are there to helpfully remind you that what is not out of your control is being handled, that what is out of your control, is being handled, and what is in your control is for you to handle. And part of that is your joy and how you spend your free time to do the things you want to do. So that is what's going on over here. The signs are the signs are a little bit calling you out, and listen, I don't like to be that person, but yeah, I need to tell you how I see it, and that's, I think, very helpful advice that is going to genuinely make this process a lot easier on you, because you're going to helpfully distract yourself by doing things that you actually like doing. Like, excuse me, I don't like banging on the door. My knuckles are sore. My hand is sore. My voice, I'm starting to lose my voice from yelling out, asking, are we there yet? I would love to just turn around and play with that fidget spinner, or, geez, I don't know, whatever your hobbies or interests are. I don't know. That's probably a different audience, fidget spinners. But anyway, knowing over here is interesting. Tarot is telling me that for many of you, was this card reversed? It's upright. That's beautiful. For many of you, your horizon is very expansive right now. And I do see this tough process ending. Can we clarify if it's reversed? Oh, the tough process is ending, but it's ending at a pace that is not within your realm of vision, which is obviously more frustrating. The Ten of Swords reversed. It's like you have all of this to look forward to, and yet you're only focused on what you've walked away from or what is still paining you. It's like, say you were in a car accident and you got surgery and, you know, the doctor, it was a success. Thank goodness. Your mother was very worried. Your family's there to support you. The surgeon's explaining aftercare of your surgery. Please look after yourself. You're going to be staying in hospital for the next 2 weeks while we monitor you. And you raise your hand and go, doctor, I still have a splinter in my big toe. And they're like, what? Yes, it's been paining me this whole time. Can you please get it out? That's what the Ten of Swords reversed with the Three of Wands is telling me. Your horizon is opening like this. And instead of looking at all of the opportunity in front of you, you're focusing on what you don't know, on what you can't see, on what is not resolved yet, on what isn't quite a part of that surgical procedure, on what you haven't been 100% certain is going to be solved, you know? And the truth of the matter is, if it's within your realm of control, then it is up to you to work towards fixing that issue. And if it is out of your realm of control, then it is within your best interest to surrender it and to focus on what you can do in your case group 3. I do see the Ten of Swords reversed as a very ongoing sort of battle, mental battle of like almost someone who's trying to fall asleep and you get anxiety about going to sleep. So you just stay up even more, and then the solution becomes the issue type of thing. You went to bed early, now you're up an extra 4 hours trying to get to sleep early. So I do think that it's not as straightforward, and there may be a lot of toing and froing here of needing to sort of curb those anxious or fearful or fretful thoughts. But I do think that you don't have to just focus on that. There's other things that you could be focusing on. Now, with the Five of Pentacles, this is where things do become a lot more serious. So I do not mean to minimize your experiences or to minimize what you are going through or what you are what changes or challenges that you are experiencing currently, because these two cards could be talking about something very heavy and something very serious and insecure in terms of home insecurity, job insecurity, financial insecurity in general, a feeling of relationship insecurity. Whatever it is, I do see that there are things that you can do to get the answers that you want, and there are also other things that you're going to need to do to reconcile with the fact that you cannot get those answers right now. And those other things are supposed to be linked in with this joyful energy. It's not supposed to just be, well, I can't vacuum, so I may as well do the dishes. It's like, no, let's not do the dishes at all today. Let's go out and visit the animal zoo, you know? Let's go out and go for that walk that we said we were going to do. And let's go out and go for a swim instead. It's not like curbing one thing with the other. It's like, no, switch it up altogether. I also want to tell you that everything that you've been through is kind of a testament to the level of trust that you can have in yourself, because this is kind of telling me that you've been through a pattern or a cycle here where you've also been in the dark and you've had to trust that it's going to work out, or you've had to trust that the actions that you took were good enough to get you over the bar and to keep you safe. And I feel like the same thing is manifesting again. They're saying that you can trust, based on what you've previously experienced, that you will get through this, and that this change in general is not going to be catastrophic to the point where it's, going to completely fall apart. You have proven history that you can get through this. Coming over here to darkness. Darkness is interesting. Darkness is saying that, yes, there's a lot that you don't really know when it comes to your future, but I do see that clarity is coming. The Ace of Blades is delivering a fresh opportunity here, and it could be coming by way of information. An opportunity is opening up in a way where we feel better informed because somebody has told us, you know, hey, they're offering jobs at this company. Why don't you apply? Hey, why don't you, you know, consider going on that dating app? I'll do it with you. Let's go out this weekend. Let's go out and meet some people. You never know. You could meet the love of your life. Whatever it is, new information is coming and it's presenting itself as an opportunity for you to take and use how you want it to. In this case, it is very important that you use your wisdom of your past to understand what you don't want to do and how you wish to act this time around. Because I see, again, your past is kind of trying to helpfully steer you into a direction that you want, rather than a direction that was proven to be unsuccessful for you in the past. And this is also being confirmed by this Five of Wands, which is reversed. They're saying that the choice doesn't have to be that difficult, or the circumstances don't have to be that difficult, as long as you understand what is helpful and what is unhelpful in terms of the energies you bring into this situation. I kind of feel like this challenging situation is ending for you. It feels like it's going to happen fairly quickly as well. I can't really get like a specific timeline because this is a general reading, but I would say like new information is coming imminently. Within the next days to weeks, you should receive information that helps you look at your future with a bit more certainty, because you have experience from your past that is going to be helpful for you. I'm also seeing that right now, sweets, you really do just need to take it one step at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. This pace is perfect for you because you are still acclimating to what is destined to happen in your future, if that makes sense. This thing that you're manifesting, or this beautiful big blessing that is coming your way, still needs you to kind of like warm up to it and fully process and heal what you have been through in your past, because the Star card reversed is telling me that your past is still very much a point of reference for you in a helpful way. Well, in the past, you know, I went to Woolworths and I had a really bad experience with a cashier, so now I only shop at Coles. I'm just comparing supermarkets, and only Australians will probably get that reference. But, you know, in the past, I went on a bungee jumping ride and I actually freaked out to the point where I blacked out. So now I only go on roller coasters to chase my thrills. Whatever it is, whatever the context, I'm just using examples. I do see with the Star card that your past is still a point of reference for you to understand what you want and what future you want to create for yourself. And until you can fully live in the present moment, appreciate that your past is helpful and by way of wisdom, but it is not something that is going to project your, you know, reality, in the sense of the good and the bad are helpful points of reference, but they don't dictate our future, right? Our experiences in our present moment dictate our future. You're still in that process of fully embracing and appreciating that. And once you are able to kind of reconcile and balance that out and feel more ready and open and present, I do feel that a lot of this challenge that you've been experiencing with your energy, this toing and froing, this fear, this confusion, this sort of boredom as well, I do think it will dissipate. You're just needing to kind of be in this transitional period, and while the universe makes these profound things happen for you. Sorry, I'm just drinking some water again because I feel like I'm talking very loud and very fast for you guys. Spirit, is there anything else I've missed for group 3? Why are they seeing signs? Why is group 3 seeing signs? It's showing me a gateway now, which is very bizarre. It's like a gateway. I think I've seen it before. It's in this deck. I wonder if I can pick it out. Spirit, why is group 3 still seeing signs? Wow, that's almost exactly what I was seeing. Boundaries. Her body is the gateway. Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? And honestly, that's what the Five of Wands reversed can sometimes mean as well. It kind of feels like there's something going on here when it comes to this period of time. I think boundaries are helpful, but they shouldn't isolate you. They shouldn't keep you segregated and alone. They are helpful to kind of reestablish sometimes, and that's how I work personally, so I will share this if it's helpful, but sometimes it's helpful to, go back to the bare minimum, cut everybody out, turn the phone off for one day, and just try to figure out how you are feeling and how much you can take on. And then bit by bit, you can start answering certain people's calls and replying to certain people's messages and trying to figure out, who is a helpful character in your life versus who is an unhelpful character, because all they do is drain you energetically, who is increasing your joy and who is demanding your joy from you. So in some ways, like, boundaries are very, 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 very helpful, don't get me wrong, but in some ways, boundaries can also keep us segregated if we're not careful. And I see with the Five of Wands over here, you do need to be careful. You're not completely alone, sweets. Your eyes will adjust. Do not be afraid of the dark. The truth is, you have a lot available to you now, and I do think that it's about being very careful and selective over who you bring into your life, because yeah, look at this. Protection is reversed behind that card. Call back your power, cut the cord, soul retrieval. Don't isolate too much. Don't be so protective of yourself that you've actually just cut everybody who is helpful to you out. Yeah, look at this, cutting. Be very careful about cutting everybody out, because you're not someone who's supposed to be isolated. You're someone who's supposed to have opportunities to connect and engage and feel supported and loved and seen and heard, all of those things. And sometimes we need to take a little break from some of our relationships because they are too demanding, but when you check back in, you realize, wow, this person's been working on themselves too. I'm actually really grateful. Now we can take this opportunity and fix or work on a more stable, balanced relationship together. All right, group 3, please, Spirit. Is there anything else they need to know about the signs they've been seeing? We have She-Wolf, unleash the wild within. Is there anything else they need to know about the signs they've been seeing, Spirit? Group 3. We have Sun, enjoy success and happiness. Is there anything else they need to know about the signs they've been seeing? Is there anything else they need to know about the signs they've been seeing? Sky Father, trust in the unknown, coming out as well. Your bottom deck energy is the Star Ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, you may not be able to see it all now. You may not be able to see it with your matrix eyes, at least. But there are so many messages whirling around you. Can you see on this card, there's ones and zeros, and there's got a matrix sequences over here. There is so many messages whirling around you, and there is so much more in the works as we speak. This path is something that I feel you had talked about, or at least agreed. I don't know if you believe in these concepts, but there is this theory in spirituality that before you are incarnated in this lifetime, or in the lifetime that you choose to be, you kind of get to choose, or at least negotiate certain experiences that you want to go through for character development or spiritual wisdom, or just in general to experience them. And that is the feeling of the path that you're on right now, is that it's actually supposed to be a helpful experience. But in order to embrace it for what it is, you are supposed to be instinctually in the moment. You're not supposed to have eyes wide open, anticipating and knowing everything. You're supposed to be a little bit instinctual, a little bit primal, a little bit carnal in that sense, where you're just kind of connected to your desire, to your what's the word? Instincts is probably the best word I can use. Not to the point where you're able to observe everything with all your senses, but it's more of a gut instinct of what you should be doing next and how you should be spending your time. She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Within, is talking more about this joy and about you really connecting with those spontaneous sort of wild side that you have, even if that means traveling or doing things that are not necessarily within your comfort zone, just challenging your experiences and what you can do with your free time. Knowing over here with the Sun, Spirit saying you've been seeing signs because there is a level of development that you have reached that is worth celebrating. It's a part of you that was not necessarily there always. It was something that you used to dream of. The life you live now, there are aspects of it that you wish you always had. So Spirit is saying enjoy success and happiness. The signs that you've been seeing have been encouraging you to stay optimistic and continue facing forward towards the sun. They don't want you to feel too sort of overwhelmed by what hasn't happened yet or what isn't sort of here yet, but just really take this moment to appreciate who you are and how far you've come as well, and the successes and the happiness that are right here in front of you. And Sky Father here with darkness, trust in the unknown. They really, really, really have your back. I promise you, Group 3. Everything that you're going through right now is just about a taste of patience, I feel, as well as a test of patience, as well as a test in trust and faith, because you have to kind of sit there like this, probably praying and hoping, like, listen, I've done what I can. I'm hoping you're still there working with me to get through this. And I hope that we can both be at the finish line together, you with the outcome and me with my high energy ready to accept it. And I do feel that the universe has got you. The universe is coming through for you 100%. They also don't want you to feel afraid or threatened by what you don't know, because some of the most beautiful things happen unexpectedly. Some of the most profound moments in your life will happen unexpectedly. So trust in the unknown. Do not be afraid of the dark. Your eyes will adjust. That is what I'm seeing for you, Group 3. I need to really thank you for being here. I'm really at a point in my life where I appreciate that time is one of the most precious, valuable things that we can afford in our lifetime. So I really appreciate you for staying and watching this reading today. If you feel like it, if you enjoyed your reading, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'll be filling out all my days. I'll be finishing the Future Spouse series next week. The third video in that series will be out, and I don't know if I'll do another one. We'll see how much info is left. But I do need to take a quick second now before you go to thank your spiritual team, my spiritual team, and all of our ancestors for helping me process these messages and for keeping me safe while doing so. Thank you again for your support, and I shall connect with you very, very soon. Bye. Hi Group 4 and welcome. I hope you are well. I hope this video is reaching you at a time that you are safe and not too sad, not too annoyed, not too confused. I hope that this message finds you when you are healthy and safe. Group 4, if you chose this earring, then this is going to be your reading today. We're going to be asking Spirit, why have you been seeing signs? I don't know where I was going. I was about to say, what can you expect? Okay, thanks Spirit. That must be a new video idea, I guess. Gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna put your earring over here for now. Excuse me, oh my gosh, I'm burping so much. Whew, gosh, you have a lot of energy coming through. Okay. We're asking Spirit, why have you been seeing signs? I'm going to be starting with an oracle deck to get 3 main reasons / themes. Look at this hand movement. 3 main reasons / themes. Oh my gosh. As to why you've been seeing signs. And then we're going to clarify with tarot. We're also going to get more oracle cards to summarize and gain further advice / insight. So Group 4, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's start with the oracle cards. Group 4, please, Spirit. Why has Group 4 been seeing signs? Why has Group 4 been seeing signs? Hello. We have value, most often not financial. Who are you now that it's done? What has been revealed? Ooh, God, that gave me goosebumps. That happens to me all the time. All the time. This card, it plagues my whole identity. Group 4, please, Spirit. In the context of Group 4's reading, why have they been seeing signs? Hello. Seeker, be curious, not afraid. You are here to evolve. Wow. You're onto some big things. It feels like you guys, listen. Wow. You're at the world. You're at the world. You are at a point in your life where, Spirit, can you give me visual tools to aid my explanation, please? Where is the world card in this deck? It's in this side, I think. Where you are at a point in your life where, hope it comes out so I can show you. I'm sure it's in this half. I might have cut the deck wrong. You're at a point in your life where you're wrapping up something pretty major, and you have to kind of figure out, like, okay, so from this experience, congratulations, you've done it, you've graduated, you've gotten that achievement. Here is your medal, here is your piece of paper, here is the reason that you did this. Now what? What can you learn from what you've been through? And what do you want to do next time differently? What matters to you now? How have your aspirations changed now? How have your interests changed now? And where do you want to go next? Where is the Fool card in this deck, Spirit? Is it here? That close? Surely not. No. Where is the Fool card in this deck, Spirit? So they really just want you to embrace and understand that you are on the precipice of something very new and exciting, and you're literally at a point where you need to reflect based on what you've been through, based on what you've experienced, based on I'm looking at the wrong one, apparently. It's in here. Based on what you've experienced, who you are, and what you've been through, how do you want to live moving forward? How do you want to be moving forward? Who do you want to be moving forward? How will you take this wisdom, this experience, and this insight to re-evaluate your next big adventure? Because you are about to start a massive big adventure, but before you get to that point, you need to sit in your beautiful cocoon, relishing your achievements, relishing, what you have experienced and the successes you have under your belt. And you need to decide where to next. And to be honest with you, you may choose something very different, very completely different. It makes me think of this beautiful soul that I read for recently. You may finish that degree and go, you know what, actually, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to be a painter. It doesn't have to be that different. Maybe I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I just want to work for my family business and sell cupcakes and make amazing, delicious pastry creations. Maybe I want to open my own coffee shop because I love coffee and I know how to make a good one. And my neighborhood is missing that. And I feel it could be very successful. Being my own boss is my dream. I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to do that. Whatever it is, you are in this point in your life where you need to sit and be still enough to understand that you don't have to keep going after this. You've hit a massive peak. Not to say that you won't peak again, but before you keep going forward, do you want to change anything? Has your value changed? Has the way that you want and desire things in this life changed? And this does make me think of myself, to be honest with you. I will only share this because I think this one example will be helpful. It's kind of reminds me of those moments in life where you put so much pressure, or I have at least, let me not project this onto you. I put so much pressure on the achievement outcome, on the number-based outcome, whether it was I want to make $10,000, I want to, get a straight A, I want to make sure I get a good final grade result so I can get into my university and do the degree that I want to. Whatever it was, it makes me think that your original plan was very much based on the intrinsic, or let's say numerical value, and after achieving it, maybe you're there with your amazing grade point average, accepted into your amazing university, and you're realizing, I don't want to study medicine anymore. I want to travel the world. The world's opening up now. When I was in grade 11 and I had to pick my subjects, we didn't know when we'd be able to travel again. But now that I've graduated, I kind of want to do that. I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to thank you so much for the job promotion, but I don't want to be a corporate accountant anymore. I'd rather make my own accounting firm and be my own boss, or I'm sick of being my own boss. That's so much responsibility. Let's go over here instead. Whatever it is, you're at a point in your life where you need to kind of appreciate that First of all, you hustle hard, so give yourself a big pat on the back because this achievement deserves recognition. It's a test of your hustle, your discipline, your effort, and your work ethic, Spirit's saying. But that doesn't mean you have to confine yourself to this one pigeonholed area in life. Life is about experience. So Spirit, why else has group 4 been seeing signs? Why else has group 4 been seeing signs? We have hoarder, accumulation, stockpiling ideas. Is this avoidance, compromise? You have time to do what you really want. Extract as far as possible the should do items on the list. Wow. Accumulation, stockpiling ideas. Is this avoidance, compromise? You have time to do what you really want. As far as possible, extract the should do items on the list. So this is kind of about balancing things out, what you want versus what you need to do, balancing it out. And I think that you need to do that mostly to appreciate how much room you have in your life for the things that you want. So if it's less risky, and in fact in your situation, this isn't about quitting one thing and going to the next. This is about testing the water first, taking that trial with the company first, starting that business on the side first, doing that hobby, that interest as a hobby first, sort of seeing that person as a casual friend first. If this is about a relationship, it's about trying before you buy, before you take that big leap and commit yourself to that full moment. You have an opportunity here to try before you buy. And speaking of full, we are going to now get some tarot to clarify each of these cards. So group 4, please, Spirit. Group 4. Why have group 4 been seeing signs? Why is value here? We have the Ace of Blades coming out very abruptly. Why have group 4 been seeing signs? Why is value here? We have the 5 of Cups reversed. And we also have Justice in the upright. Why have group 4 been seeing signs? Why is Seeker here? Yeah, sweet. Oh my God. The Chariot. You're about to start a whole new adventure. And it's scary. Oh my God, are you scared? You're maybe even terrified. This is a big deal. Am I right? I don't know, but you will be. Okay? Your gut feeling will not fail you. You have to open up your heart, though. There is a part of your heart that is afraid to even invest in this idea because you're actually afraid of being right. Then what do I do with all the effort that I've put into this previous thing? Appreciate it for what it was, an experience, a test of who you are and what you are capable of, but not a confining barrier of limitation of what you deserve ongoing. I feel like you're destined for a lot more. And listen, I know that these readings, especially when they're general, they're really great because they push your aspirations high. But I promise you, a very logical, grounded, practical person. I don't convey these messages willy-nilly. If you meet me in real life, a lot of people are very shocked at how skeptical or, I want to say, realistically basic I am. I don't convey these aspirational messages faint-heartedly, like just because I want to be out here empowering people and offering false promises. I am someone who needs to be sure of such grandiose things, and in your case, I am. I am very sure, group 4, that you are destined for more than what you've previously achieved. And I can tell that you're afraid, but I can also tell that there's this curious side to you that needs to know the truth. You need to know why you've been feeling like this, why this feeling hasn't left you, why this feeling is growing, why this desire is growing, why that thought that you had just won't leave you alone. And it's now becoming a very impulsive, pulsing feeling. We also have the 7 of Cups reversed. Yeah, 2 7s reversed. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. One more card, please, Spirit. We have the 8. I thought it was a 7 again. I was like, no way. We have the 8 of Pentacles. There's you and your practical work ethic. Spirit, why is Hoarder here? Why has group 4 been seeing signs? Hello? Why? Oh, that makes sense. We have the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. Do I have room? Can I scoot on over here? Surely, surely. That's such an Australian thing to say. A lot of Australians, at least my age, I don't know about the younger kids, but we always say surely and 100%. Every time I watch an Aussie YouTuber, I'm like, oh wow, I'm not the only one that says it. Surely, 100%. Spirit, why is Hoarder here for group 4? We have the King of Discs coming out reversed. Wow, yeah. I'm hearing untapped potential, but it's more than that. The King of Discs is a very responsible person who's destined to be a pinnacle, like a showcasing personality. I see the King of Pentacles as like the community's hero in a way, if that makes sense. Like, this is the kid you went to school with. You were, around the playground playing tiggy or whatever it is, chase, if you call it in your country, chasing each other around the playground. This is the kid you grew up with who started the same place you did and ended up being a true sign that anybody can be successful if you have hard work and if you make the right decisions for yourself. This is someone who started exactly the same point as you and managed to achieve success that people in your community didn't think were possible. And sweets, that's you, group 4. I'm not talking about anybody else. I know it sounded like I was, but that's you. You have that within you. You have that ability to be somebody that others can look up to and learn from without you doing anything except making the right choices for yourself. But in order to do that, you need to start looking at your dreams and your plans as something that can be practically achievable through smart goals. And in your case, with the 5 of Pentacles reversed and Hoarder here, I do need to tell you what smart goals are. Smart goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely goals. So that means that when you set these goals, you have to specify exactly what you want. You have to have like a measurable outcome. You have to have an achievable outcome. You have to have a realistic outcome, and it has to have a timely outcome in terms of, this isn't just about me throwing it into the wind and saying, universe, make me a millionaire in this lifetime. It's about going, okay, cool, thanks universe, but now how can I do that for myself? How will I get $1 million? Well, let's start with a smart goal. This month, I want to earn $10,000 through my investments or through my businesses. How am I going to make that a smart goal? I'm going to set smart targets. I'm going to increase this area within this month. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put energy into this. I'm going to make sure it's realistic and it's not something that is beyond what I can physically do. There is something here about being smart in terms of the acronym SMART that I'm using about your goals in order to make them more realistic for you. And that means breaking them down into more realistic sections, right? You can't go from $500 a week to $1 million a week unless you're one of the rare billion people, one in 6 million that win the lottery or something ridiculously. I'm sure the statistic is worse, is like 1 in 60 million or something that win the lottery. It's really very much about being smart about this and using the time that you do have to kind of compromise with this card. You have time to do what you really want. As far as possible, extract these should do items on your list. Compromise. Are you stockpiling ideas? One more card for that group section, please, Spirit. Group 4. Why is Hoarder in their pile? Yeah, make more time. The 2 of Pentacles, make more time. Make more time for the things that you want to do, as well as the things that you need to do. It's all about balance here with Hoarder. Your bottom deck energy is the 8 of Wands upright. I'm not surprised. You are a group that is going to have some big changes that will move you forward fairly quickly, okay? Once you kind of step into this power of, you've taken time to reflect and to think about, okay, I'm so grateful that I graduated. I'm so grateful that I got this job. I'm so grateful that I got this contract for the next 6 months. I'm so grateful that I got this house for the next 6 months. I'm so grateful that I bought this car. but what do I want to do next? What can I learn from this experience? Well, actually, getting a loan was a very stressful process. I don't know if I want to do that again. So right now, so maybe I can focus on one of my other aspirations. Maybe I could put my money towards this area of my life instead. Maybe I actually realized after hustling that hard that it took so much from my personality that I need to kind of reinvent myself again. I need to explore my interests again. I need to reconnect with my loved ones again. I need to redefine my values again because they got a little missed along the way. And I see that happening very quickly for you over here. I see that you've been seeing signs because they've all been trying to pointing to this one idea that, listen, your values have changed and what you value most is something that has been neglected previously on the pursuit of success. And I do think that this new idea is how you can better cope with that feeling of missing out and not taking advantage of what your heart really wants. This time around, you can do it in a more balanced way, maybe set it up in a structured way so that you make a little bit of time for this and a little bit of time of that, or you set clear expectations from the beginning. And now this is making me think of relationships. Take it if it resonates, but what I'm feeling for some of you is that what could happen here is that you're very career orientated and your partners are not, or they can have not in the past appreciated that you hustle, because that is also a passion. It's not just something that pays the bills for you. You're very passionate about your career, so you hustle like it is your passion. And I think that moving forward, the right partner needs to understand with you that that is something that is a part of you, and setting those clear expectations as well. Understanding that, listen, I'm out here for love. Obviously, I don't want to be alone, but that's why I'm dating you. But I'm also like creating a legacy here, and I'm also very passionate about my new project, and I'm also very much in a busy time of my year where I need to work a lot and I may not be available all the time. Does that mean that I'm not interested in growing this? No, it just means that I need to be very honest and transparent with you about what my availability is, and I hope you can understand that. If you cannot, then maybe we need to look at where our expectations aren't exactly gelling together. Maybe this isn't the fitting partnership that it could be. Maybe we just can't make it work. The worst case scenario, though, take it as it applies to your situation. That was just an example. But I do see here that honestly, you identifying what you value most is going to strengthen your partnerships and connections. Because once you have that clarity, once you have a grip over those emotions, those feelings of, wow, now I know why I felt like I was missing out, because I wasn't honoring that side to me that actually loves to hustle. I wasn't honoring that side to me that is very family orientated. I wasn't honoring that side to me that loves to just do their hobbies on the weekend. And once you have that clarity, you're able to then take that information, sort of digest it into your relationships and have better relationships because of that. Seeker is a different vibe. Seeker is going to need me to drink some water first. Seeker is saying sometimes the best ideas come to you when you are still, when you are quiet, and when you don't have anywhere to be by any specific time. And times like that are usually like when you're on the toilet, when you're just taking your morning shower or your night shower. You don't have to be anywhere. You're just trying to, chill out before bed. And it kind of makes me think that your situation is almost becoming that, if it isn't already. Seeker is saying that there's this curious energy within you that is exploring things that part of you is afraid to delve deeper into, but you do need to pay attention to them because there are clarifying pieces of information and feelings in those thoughts. A seeker is saying that certain signs have been encouraging you to pay attention to your fears and to understand what you want from your heart and what you want based on your other emotions, because you do have a choice to make. And I feel like this choice is going to be a lot easier when you are reconciled with what your heart wants. It feels like the real, true answer to your big question of what your heart wants is something that will be revealed to you at a time when you are quiet, still, and have nowhere to be at no particular time. You're just chilling by yourself and wow, I've clocked it. Now I know why. Now I understand. Now, the other reason why the signs have been coming, and this is for most of you now, I feel like that first example is only for maybe 40% of you. For most of you, the other reason you've been seeing this sign is because Spirit is encouraging you to kind of play into those feelings that you've been ignoring. There's something here that is going to require effort to build on and effort to turn into something, but you can't make something out of nothing. You have to start somewhere. And in order for that to happen, you do have to overcome this fear of stepping towards it in the first place, this uncertainty of what the outcome will be. And you have to just kind of plant that seed and let it have a chance to grow. The seed can't grow from the packet. The seed's put in the packet specifically so it won't grow. You have to take that seed out of the packet and plant it, give it a chance to grow. There is a feeling here that something that you want, you need to give it a chance to grow. Now, over here with Hoarder's different again, group 4. Hoarder is a different message that the Hoarder was telling us before, which I already did talk about in great detail. Hoarder was telling us to stop avoiding, to compromise, to make more room, to appreciate that you are someone who is supposed to be quite successful, or at least a prime example of what hard work can offer you. And in order to do that, you do need to make better use of your time, balancing out the things you need to do with the things that you want to do. And this is also about kind of appreciating how you may have been procrastinating, how you may have been avoiding, how it may be time to physically sit down, make that list, and figure out what you need to do. I also think that Hoarder is here because you are someone who is very ingenuitive. Is that a word? You're just very much this entrepreneur. You have brilliant, bold ideas that are destined to turn into big things, but you kind of fail to follow it up. Now, Spirit is saying, don't make that same mistake. There is an idea here that is coming and going from your mind regularly, and it needs to be followed up. So don't let it slip. Make sure that you follow it up. Why is the 5 of Pentacles here, Spirit? It is reversed too. There's another message with this 5 of Pentacles. What is it here, Spirit? There's going to be a change in your environment soon, and I do think that that change has something to do with your financial situation, only because I do see either you guys moving, or I do see the job that you will take will require financial changes. You may lead a very busy lifestyle, and I see that this will make you happy as long as you can allow it to fit with the other things that you value in your life, if that makes sense. Honoring what you value, coming back to this message, you are going to have a physical change in your environment because of your financial situation. And I think that it's very possible with the right support, with the right people, with the right conversations, and as long as you know what you truly want from this situation, group 4. Let's get the oracle cards out to summarize now. Group 4, please, Spirit. What have I missed for them? Or what do you need to confirm and solidify for them, for their message today? Why has group 4 been seeing signs? Yeah, I'm not surprised, because one way or another, joy has come out for nearly every group. Summer, bask in joy and light for you guys. They're saying that some big changes are going to be happening in summer. Now, excuse me. I don't know if you heard that, but my TV just turned on. So I'm gonna have to smoke myself after this. I don't know if you guys heard that. I was watching Squid Game on Netflix and my TV was on pause. It just started playing again, the second episode. And it's like the creepiest show too. That's so weird. Anyway, don't worry about me. I'm a very resilient person when it comes to spirits and energies. I will smoke the hell out of this neighborhood. Anyway, though, coming back to you, group 4, summer, bask in joy and light. Honestly, something big could be happening in summer, especially if you're in the southern hemisphere. Summer for us is December, January, February. Look at me on the spot. December, January, February. So in the southern hemisphere, I see that being significant. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it feels like something significant did happen over the summer. And this is more so just about staying in this attitude where like opportunity is in front of you. They don't want you to kind of miss out, and they don't want you to see the situation as a never-ending story. You shouldn't be trapped in the hustle, is what they're saying. You do have an opportunity to slow things down and to appreciate what you value most out of your current situation. Group 4, please, Spirit. Why have they been seeing signs? Group 4. Why have they been seeing signs? Star ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. Yeah, you do. It's not so much your soul, although it may be. It could be a significant soul connection as well. Your spirit is trying to pull you to something. I'm hearing back to something for some of you, but only take that if it resonates. I know that a lot of you get triggered about your past, so I'm not getting any indication in any other cards that this has to do with your past. Take it if it resonates for your specific situation. But the main message behind this card is saying that there is a pull in your spirit to go to something, to go to a place. And I do think that this is something that is going to take a lot of courage, a lot of effort, only because you haven't invested enough yet to really know. And this comes back to that feeling of how can you expect the sunflower to grow if the seed is still in the packet? How can you expect to see clear results if you haven't even started yet? So that is a very big point of reflection that I think your group needs to really digest and think about. Be curious, not afraid. You are here to evolve. Follow the voice of your soul. Why else has group 4 been seeing signs, Spirit? Oh, hello, Queen. I haven't seen this card in a while. Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. And some of these animals or creatures on these cards could be little helpful hints and clues for you. But what I'm getting with this card is that there is very much this feeling of like change and restructuring and not being afraid to sort of admit when things aren't going the way that you want them to, not being afraid to understand that this isn't exactly where you want to be right now, not being afraid to see that, listen, some of these things need to change in order for me to be who I want, where I want, and as I want to be. Peacekeeper is saying that your pride may be standing in the way of your success as well, knowing when to be flexible and appreciate a change in the wind for a new found direction. Let go of the need to be right, Peacekeeper. There is a feeling here of just kind of taking your opportunities, group 4, as in terms of now moving forward, as a point of what do I want to experience? What do I think that I want in my future? What have I missed out on in my previous experiences? What did my previous big journey in terms of, what you had been previously hustling to do? What did you feel went unsatisfied in that situation? Let go of the need to be right is really encouraging you to get introspective and really consider where your ego or your pride may be standing in the way of your success. Yeah, transform and unveil your gifts. There's something hidden within you, and it's going to make your situation a lot easier once it's revealed. How has your ego been standing in your way? Harness mystic power is your bottom deck energy. I'm not getting any specific messages with that card, though. The meow meow might be significant for you. My meow meow thinks he's from Egypt and worshipped. Harness mystic power. Yeah, I do see things moving very quickly for you once you have the certainty. I see things like a house on fire moving very quickly for you once you have the certainty, group 4. And that's what I'm seeing for you, group 4. That is why you have been seeing signs. You guys had a very interesting message. And if you feel like there are other reasons, you may have messages in other groups, because I can tell you that although certain cards did come out for each of the groups, their messages were very different. So you may have messages in other groups. If you feel called to, I would encourage you to have a look at them. But I do need to thank you for your time and your support in this reading, specifically group 4. Time is, in my opinion, the most valuable thing that we are afforded in this lifetime. And I really appreciate you for being here and offering your time to me as a sign of support. I do need to take a quick second, speaking of time, to thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages and for keeping me safe while doing so. Thank you for all of your support, and I shall see you in another video. Bye!